Well, speaking of digital movies, that brings me into one of our first just general topics that we've got here. I'm going to ask you a question, I guess. With these movies being released on digital early, Bloodshot, I think it was what 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe after it was released in theaters on digital, and Birds of Prey was maybe a month or so.
Yeah,
But with
because
or Onward is 3 weeks, I think too.
Onward was also, yeah, because I reviewed both The Hunt and Bloodshot the same weekend. And then,
hmm
yeah, like 2 weeks later or a week later when all the stuff came out and they closed them down.
So my question is, with the virus and everything right now, it seemed like a smart choice for the studios to do this, just so that not only is it a smart move on them to, make the most that they can while those movies are in people's minds. I mean, if theaters are shut, they're not going to make money, so you might as well release them digitally and see if you can get people to rent them or buy them. But what does it mean, I guess, for the future of the movie industry? Because we've got somebody like Universal releasing Trolls. They didn't even have a movie like a theater release.
What
They're just
Trolls
going straight to digital.
what Trolls is actually doing, I don't know what movie theaters are open to do this with, but it's
hmm
doing a simultaneous release.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, okay, so they would be, yeah, technically doing a simultaneous release. But if no theaters are open, then they're not going to be able to actually
Yeah, I
release
don't
it.
know. Yeah, I was about to say I don't think any of like the theaters around me will be open. Though
But
the independent one was doing you could book rooms with 10 people to
see now
watch
that,
one of the
I mean, I
movies.
guess that would make sense.
But that's also
But
an independent theater, so they can't do that
yeah,
all the time.
but I guess my question is, do you think this will have an effect either on general digital release after theater release, like instead of it being 3 months like it usually is, do you think studios will figure a way to cut back on the release of digital? Would it be beneficial to them, or do you think they'll go back to normal? And then on second of that, do you think some studios, because we've seen them, if they're not confident in a movie, they'll sell it to Hulu or Netflix or something like that. Do you think they would, rather than doing that, just go straight to digital, but market it the same way they would a movie in the theaters?
I think the only real like change will be with that is if one of the big studios does it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the next Marvel movie, right? If I would say Black Widow, but I don't think they do that for Black Widow. I don't know. If I don't want to say Eternals because I don't think anybody would care about it if it was on digital.
No, I think it's got a better shot. Like, I guess it depends on the movie, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is
But
some would
once
sell easy on digital, when
yeah.
others would sell better in theaters.
Yeah, but once one of those big studios does we're going to do digital first or simultaneous, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll see what like if they do it like with Mulan or something and it does big,
Yeah,
wh- then I think we'll know that it's kind of done.
because that'd be interesting. Because I mean, the studios go to the theaters, and the theaters make their money just off concessions, and they get a very small percentage of the ticket
Yeah.
cost, very small percentage. But I'm wondering if, because I guess it depends on the amount of people you get to watch them on digital versus in the actual theater. Because I wonder if they could just make a deal with, say, Apple or Vudu or whoever it is, like make a deal with them where that website spends a portion of money on those new releases per down. Like, I don't know how it would work because it'd have to be getting money in somewhere else too, like in some kind of contract to lease it out to these companies or however they would do it. But I guess it'd just be interesting to see how many people you would get to watch them on digital versus in the theaters. Like, would people be more accepting or more wanting to go watch a movie if they're able to do it at home rather than go to the movies and spend more money on popcorn, drinks, and stuff like that?
I imagine. So I think the problem with like Netflix original movies
Hmm.
are that they have a really bad reputation, right? Like none of them have
Yeah.
been all that great. So I think that's an issue.
Well, let's take Bloodshot for example, okay? So let's say they market it the same way they would if they were releasing it in theaters. So you're
Yeah.
marketing it heavily on TV and stuff like that. Do you think, because I mean, I know it was only in theaters for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, but do you think, because I know we don't have the numbers, but do you think a movie like Bloodshot, where it's not going to be some great big huge Marvel movie or something like that, so it's no guarantee that's going to make a lot of money. Do you think if they went straight to digital, it would make more money because it's a movie that people are interested in because it's an action movie, but don't want to spend the extra money to go to the theater and buy concessions and all that stuff or leave their home? Or do you think it would have a better chance of making more money in the actual theater?
I would say, yeah, I think if it's a smaller one, it would make more sense. It would get those, I'm thinking, I don't know why this came to me, but Nice Guys,
Mm-hmm.
that
That's a
Shane
good
Black
one.
movie. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
movie and a lot of his movies, which are like quality films and people like them, but they
Yeah.
don't usually make a lot of money because they're genre pieces, would probably do well doing either like simultaneous or like a couple weeks later.
Yeah. I would just be curious to see it because I think this whole digital thing, there is an advantage there if you can do it on movies that are on a lower budget that would be an appealing movie. You got to hit like that demographic though of a movie that is appealing to a lot of people, like just whoever if they saw it on a Netflix or a Hulu, but you didn't spend a whole lot of money on, but would do well if people didn't have to worry about spending more money other than just buying the movie or renting the movie. Like I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of options here where studios could take advantage of this group of movies that kind of fit this slot.
yeah, I think it would be interesting again. I think it once a bigger studio tries to take a risk with it, or if they see that I don't know who did Bloodshot. All I
Oh, I
know is
don't.
it's
Universal maybe.
producers of the producer of the Fast and Furious is all I remember.
Hmm.
If they get like a nice profit from this and they didn't get a whole profit from the theater, then they might try to push it for the variant universe.
See, that's what it comes down to me is that profit number, which obviously that's what it's going to come down to. These people making decisions is the profit numbers, but it'll just be interesting to see how this shakes out. Depending on how long these theaters are actually closed till, because we don't even know how long they're going to be closed. So a lot of decisions are going to have to be made over these next couple of weeks for a lot of movies coming up.
Yeah.